Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is Lee Primo of Eat.Health Lee, and I'm here to talk about week 12 of the one-year meal replacement experiment. 12. It was been an interesting week, as always. What I've noticed is I've been doing the past week of cooking the muffins, and the muffins, from what I've seen, have risen the blood sugar levels a bit slightly than the previous weeks. So when I come out of the microwave oven, they're in a muffin-like form, so they're not liquid anymore, but more of a solid structure. What I'd like to talk about in this video is my plans for phase 2 of the Joyland trial. So as you guys may have remembered, this is the last week I'm doing in phase 1. And phase 1 was meant to be a phase that is more as pure as possible. In phase 2, I'll start kind of experimenting more with the Joyland as with regards to adding other stuff to see if I can lower my blood sugar levels a bit more or not. In addition, I'm going to exercise more in phase 2. So I'll talk a bit more about that obviously in next week's video, which will be week 13. And what I mean by that is I'm going to have a much more steady, stricter exercise regimen to see if Joyland can keep up with my needs throughout that type of adjustments. In addition, this video I'll also talk about sugar and how I think sugar is to blame for a lot of diseases we see nowadays. And two people I'd like to recommend you guys check out would be Dr. Lustig. He's a physician with the University of California, and he did a video on YouTube called Sugar, a Bitter Truth. And I'll go ahead and put that link in the bottom down there under the comments. And what Dr. Lustig's argument is, there was another physician back around in the 70s who said that fat was to blame for a lot of diseases like heart disease, diabetes, obesity. And he claims the study that he did wasn't done as thoroughly as it could have been done. And he points the blame more towards sugar as being an issue in today's dietary foods, mainly sucrose, which comes from, it's a combination of glucose and fructose put together, and this is what is commonly known as table sugar. And I highly suggest you guys watch that video. It's about an hour and 30-minute lecture that he gives, but it's very informative, and it has a lot of good scientific references behind it. In another edition where Dr. Lustig kind of got his inspiration from was by a physician named John Yudkin. And John Yudkin was a British physician and a nutritionist, and he was the original person to blame that sugar for the lifestyles that we now see nowadays. So the metabolic syndromes, a lot of those diseases were tied into sugar. And he wrote a book called Pure, White, and Deadly. And I'll go ahead and put a link in that as well in the bottom of the comments down there where you guys can take a look at it. Is another great read. But what I would like to focus from here on is the sugar aspect of the Joyland. I know within a bag is about the recommended amount of sugar, so around 33-34 grams is what they recommend per day. I'm taking a bit more because I'm eating a bit more caloric-wise, but it's far less than what I was eating before. Before the average American would eat about 112 pounds of sugar a year. So let me divide that by 365. That was on average a third of a pound of sugar a day on average. And as you can see now, this diet is far less. 33 grams is much less than, let's say, a third of a pound. So I'm really curious with that aspect of the diet, and I've seen it a bit in the blood sugar levels that I've taken since the beginning, now to the end. You can see they've dropped quite dramatically, and I think that definitely has to do with the lack of the reduction of sugar in the Joylands. And not only sugar, but high fructose corn syrup is a lot what Dr. Lustig and Dr. Yudkin focus on as far as being problematic. So that's quite interesting. That's going to be essentially like my now is my main motivation for sticking with these types of meal replacements is to do this long term. I do have a plan on after Joylent would be pulled for 6 months, and then starting the next year after that, I'm going to go on to hopefully 2 companies I'm conversing right now, but they're the more biological, more natural, healthy ingredients. They use, let's say, as an example, instead of whey protein, they would use rice and pea protein. And that is going to be the next biggest project I want to do is do a year, 6 months in each of those companies. Right now, I'm negotiating with who I'm going to do them with, but I have 2 companies that are interested. And of course, but we have to wait and see till we get closer to that because things could change within the amount of time. Other than that, it's been great. Energy's been great. That's about it for this week. I hope to see you guys next week. And as a reminder, obviously, next week is week 13, and I hope to have the first blood results in by then. And what I'll go ahead and do is I will upload that, do a statistical analysis of the blood research, and then upload that to the YouTube channel and also to my blog. So always keep an eye on my blog, and I also obviously include that in the comments section below. And you guys can go ahead and see what the a lot of the results are from there. It's been a good chatting with you guys. I hope you guys enjoy the experiment so far, and then see you guys next week.